You know that one person whose space is just always spotless? It's easy to write it off as simple self-discipline, right? But what if I told you there's a much deeper mental operating system at work? Yeah, let's dive into the minds filing system and see what's really going on under the hood.
So, what's the deal? Why do some people feel this almost compulsive need for order, while others are totally fine living in what looks like, organized chaos? We're going to dig into the hidden psychological drivers behind that deep, deep satisfaction of a clean space.
Okay, let's try an analogy. Think of your brain as a computer's operating system. Now, a cluttered room, that's exactly like a messy desktop, just littered with random files and icons everywhere. And just like on a computer, all that physical clutter creates this kind of low-grade static that just slows your mental processing way down.
Which naturally brings us to our first section. If we want to speed up our mental computer, we first have to clear out all those junk files that are hogging our resources. So the key psychological concept here is something called cognitive load. Here's how it works. Every single object in your line of sight, especially if it's out of place, is basically a little pop-up ad for your brain. It forces your mind to work harder just to filter out all that noise, and that drains your processing power before you even start a task. Now, check this out, because this is where it gets really interesting. Look at how neatly this all maps out. Cleaning up literally gives you more mental RAM to work with. That pile of laundry over there, that's not just laundry. It's a background process, and it's subtly draining your energy. And every messy corner is another app you left open, reminding you of something you haven't finished. Tidying up is your system cleanup. It shuts down those processes and frees up your mind for what actually matters. But this isn't just about being more efficient. It's also about control. In our next section, we'll see how cleaning becomes this powerful act of asserting your own administrative power. Psychologists have a term for this, locus of control. Think about it. When the world outside feels chaotic, full of unexpected errors and system crashes you can't do anything about, your personal space becomes the one domain where you have full administrator privileges, right? We can't control the economy, we can't control global events, but we can absolutely control whether that book goes back on the shelf. And this shows exactly how cleaning can be such a powerful coping tool. When your emotions feel like a tangled mess of code, the simple, repetitive act of cleaning can be incredibly calming. It's a productive action with a really clear result. And for a lot of people, it's also a statement of self-respect. Keeping your space clean is like maintaining your own hardware. It reflects your personal standards. It shows you value your own environment. So here's the crucial takeaway. Organizing your physical world is a very direct way to reinforce the idea that you are in charge. In your own space, you set the rules. You are the administrator. But why do some people seem to genuinely enjoy this process more than others? Okay, let's run some diagnostics on the internal reward systems and personality traits that are at play here.
Well, it turns out some of us are just running different software. A detail-oriented mind is kind of like a highly sensitive diagnostic tool. It can't help but notice the bugs. A crooked picture frame, a crumb on the counter. For that person, ignoring it is really hard. A standard mind might easily filter that stuff out to focus on the bigger task. But for the detail-oriented person, that visual bug is screaming to be fixed.
And this is where our brain chemistry comes in. Cleaning provides this incredibly satisfying and immediate reward loop. Your brain identifies a bug, you execute a simple fix, and boom, you see an instant, visible result. Task complete. That sense of accomplishment triggers a small release of dopamine, that feel-good chemical in your brain. And that little reward reinforces the habit, which makes you want to do it again. It's a perfect, self-sustaining little system.
Ultimately, it all comes back to this one idea. Whether it's for mental clarity, a sense of control, or that little hit of dopamine, a clean space just becomes a way to feel grounded. It's an external reflection of our internal desire for order and peace in a world that, let's be honest, often provides neither.
So, it leaves us with a pretty fascinating question to think about. This habit of cleanliness is just one program. If your mind really is an operating system, what other default software, what other routines and background processes are you running every single day?